Hopefully you can hear me. So this video is about half lap joint, and it's mainly because a friend of mine asked me about it. He didn't ask me specifically about half lap joint, but mostly on a particular design on a window. And sometimes when you look at a window, it has like these nice beautiful cross dividers that makes a big giant window look like they have smaller glass pane. I have some of these on my windows, and a lot of it don't have it, but some of them has it, and they're plastic. They're not the nice fancy wooden one. So my friend wanted to make wooden ones, so good luck. But no, but it's going to be a fun project for him. But he asked me, the story went that his wife got him a router, and he was asking for advice whether a router table is necessary to make these window cross sections. So let me describe what he was trying to accomplish. Grab a piece of scrap wood. So imagine this. Let me grab a piece of. Anybody's watching? I have this saw for 3 or 4 years and have not changed the blade. The blade is a pull saw blade instead of push saw blade. This is a Japanese style instead of the Western or European style, and I feel I have more control pulling than pushing. Just preference, but as you can see, I cut this thing really easily. But back to the what my friend is asking for. He asked me if I can do that. He got a router as a gift, and whether he needs a router table, and if it's on the router table, how would he do it? And imagine the window having a cross beam, making basically a cross, and this is the big giant window, or maybe you have multiple of these. And my suggestion to him was half lap joint. What half lap joint means is basically take this piece, no, I didn't draw on one side. So you take this piece, about half of it, this section will be taken out. It is as simple as doing something like this. Well, let's do it the right way. So I would do this by hand so that you can see it on how to do this by hand, and then how would you do this on a router table, and whether a router table is necessary. I won't be doing this on a router table, but I will simulate on how to do it. So I just found the center by doing that. So basically, actually I should have done that either way. So this is how I would do a half lap joint, because to me, hand tools are the simplest thing, and this is $20 when it's on sale. I always get it on sale. Woodcraft, my God, I love you guys, because you guys have one of these things on sale every quarter, and I usually buy 1 or 2 of these things every quarter. So I stock up on these, and a chisel costs. I also buy nice chisels and not in those bulk from Harbor Freight, and they usually go for like another $20 or $30, and the nicer one obviously goes for like $50, $60. And I'm not going to go into the really expensive one because those are not affordable, but the one that I do use are between $30 to $60. In total, it's less than $100 investment, but these 2 tools would do 80% of all woodworking as a person starting out without having any tools, and also don't have room to store these tools. Literally a chisel and this thing, put it in the corner, you're done. So that's the moral of my story, at least. So keep in mind that this, when I draw the line I draw as on the outside, so it's best that I cut on the inside so that it'll be a snug fit on this thing. So the 2 lines I draw, I will be cutting on the inside of that. Don't have enough light, I can't see. And usually I do this on my bench so that this thing is clamped in, but I don't want to reset my camera. Also, Japanese style chisel. I love these things as well. They are just really good quality in my opinion. Whoa. Actually, I haven't set the ring on this thing yet, so actually this wood is so soft that I technically didn't even have to do that. See, that's my point. So, and then slowly, obviously, for those who's watching this, you won't be using pine to do this because it's for your house. Pine is as cheap as you can get, and this is what I use to practice, and this is a piece of scrap wood. But as you can see how quickly I can do this, and quickly clean this up. Do the same thing to this thing. Voila! You have this cross, and it's super tight. See? And obviously, this is halfway. The other halfway is on this side, and it will mate perfectly flat. Now, can you do this on the router table? You can do this on almost anything. On a table saw with this thing going 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, passing through, and then use a chisel, clean it up. You can definitely use a router table. And all right, let me get this out of the way to show how I would do it in the router table, so that on a router table, obviously you have the bit in there, and you'll be using a flush trim bit, a flush bit that comes up and trim this aside, and you'll be passing it through, actually coming through this way, because that is the direction it's supposed to go, from this side to this side. See, I have arrows here telling you the right thing to do. And what I suggested to him is on his miter gauge, there's 2 screws. I have added a piece of block here, not too long, and this is when I was actually doing cut on my table saw. This belongs to my table saw. It does not belong to my router table. But the one he showed me he was getting, it comes with a miter gauge like this. So what I suggested to him to do is add one of these things to support his block. So now with that supported, this thing extend over here. It's actually better if this extend all the way out to the other side, because you have your entire stick. If this is in the middle you're trying to do, you have this whole entire thing supported, and you just pass right through it without having the fence here. The fence is gone. My fence is actually sitting down there. But keep in mind that the width of this thing versus the bit has to be smaller than this, or the exact same size. Otherwise, if your bit is a little bit bigger, in any way, this thing will be wobbling, because you have made this slot too big. See how mine is very, very tight? Because I cut it right in the inside line, not the outside line. So if your bit is too big, you'll have that problem. So what I would do is get a smaller bit. If you're working with like something like these, which is I think is 1/2 inch. I don't have a ruler. Imagine this is 1/2 inch. I would get a 1/2 inch, or actually smaller than a 1/2 inch, maybe I don't know, 3/8 of an inch, and take one pass so that I know this is smaller than this. The second pass, just slowly ease up to it, slowly finding it. Once you measure it perfectly, put a stop block here, so that the next time we repeat that cut, you put it right against it, go right up to it. Put it down here, right up to it. You don't want to put it up here as a stop block, because now this thing have no way to move. You want to put it down here where you start. Clamp it down to your table, and then as you come up here, this part will be free. That is how I would do it on a router table. Once again, there's many ways of doing a half lap joint, but these two take up the least amount of room, and also at the same time very, very in control. With this thing, you're running a power tool, a big chance of messing up this if you don't measure it correctly, and also higher risk. I don't usually use a power tool unless there's certain circumstances, like, you know, if I have to do a lot of things many times repeatedly, then hand tool wouldn't be my choice, because when you hand carve something or hand do something, repeatability is not the best thing to do. It's hard. But with that said, you know, that's how you do it on a router table, and that's how you do it on a table saw, and that's how you hand do it. And since I already did half of it, might as well do the other half just to have fun with it. So the remaining few minutes, if you guys want to quit, you are welcome to quit. And thank you for tuning in. For those who want to see this finish completed, stay another 2 minutes. So, you know, want to have it on here. What I do is put it in here. Take it back out. same exact method. Put a cut right here. And then use this. Remember, cutting the inside, not the out. This time I'm going to see if I can actually do it without actually using the mallet. My God, that was soft. Once again, obviously, if you're using nicer wood, it wouldn't be that easy to cut this joint, but you will spend a little bit more time chiseling here. But since I'm using pine, it is not that much easier because the wood is so soft. See? What is nice, nice, flat, even. There you go. I didn't mean to make a cross, but you know, it is what it is. So have a good night.